Hey Karthik, I thought I'd give you another little puzzle to work on. Here is an earlier design uh, of my signal generator. And here you can see I'm using 74161 chips. These are 4-bit counters instead of the 74590 in the other layout that I showed you. And I actually cut this board and I started putting it together. I've only got this oscillator, which this is a little bit different than the other oscillator. It uses a 4049 UB, and this is one of my own design. But anyway, so this similar principle though. The only thing different here is it only needs one gate to work. So anyway, so this creates an oscillator, and also the output of this oscillator isn't really quite full logic levels, which is why I switched to the other one, thinking that might be part of the problem. But it is enough to drive this 74161. So anyway, I'm getting weird outputs, and you can see this is well, this is QA, QB, QC, and QD. QA and QB look great, other than that ripple we've been looking at, but QC and QD are just totally whack. So I thought maybe you could help me figure that out. Let me switch over to my camera a minute and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So um, so here's the board that I cut. Let me see if I can make that. So I cut this board, and you can see I started testing it before doing everything. So I've only got the oscillator, the 4049 chip in, and which is a NOT gate, and I've got the counter chip, which is the 161, which is this chip here. So these are the outputs here. The third pin from the top here, which is pin 12. Right, yeah, 12, 11. Wait, 1, 2, sorry, this is pins 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11 are the outputs on this. So I will show you what the signals look like there. So let me point this back at my oscilloscope. And so here is here's the clock signal that's being put into it, and you can see that is an 8 megahertz signal. And as I said, the logic levels aren't full, but they are enough to drive this chip, as can be seen from the output. So here is QA, and you can see that that is a very nice 4 megahertz signal, and with a little the ringing on the top that we've seen before. Here is the next one. This is QB, so this is 2 megahertz. And then here's the next one, and this looks to be at a 1 megahertz signal, but look at the output here. Let me give you a little so you can see it repeats. So there's high, it goes high, low, and then just like halfway up, halfway down, and then high, and then low. And this should be feeding in from this signal should be feeding to this counter. And then watch this. If I go to the next one, not only does it have the same shape, but it doesn't. This output should be half the frequency of this one, but you can see that it's not. It's the same. That's probably because this signal isn't driving it, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. Anyway, although I would think that would make the frequency even less, right? Like this, in other words, this should be a quarter if it's skipping every other one. So I don't understand how that could be. Now I replaced this chip with another chip, and it's the same. And when I breadboard this, it works fine. It's noisier, of course, on the breadboard. But when I breadboard out this circuit, it works. But when I have it here, it doesn't work. So I thought, well, there's got to be something wrong, right, with my with the board itself. But I mean, I've checked my soldering. I've checked that there's no shorts or anything. So I just can't figure out like what. Here's the back side of the board. See if, I don't know if you can see that. But might need to pull away to get it to. See it a little better. But anyway, I've checked these solder connections and I can't find any issues with them. The issue would have to be somewhere around the counter chip, and I don't see anything. So anyway, I thought maybe you'd have some ideas of what I could look for in that. because I am totally stuck, which is why I actually switched to the other design using the 74590 8-bit counter. Was entirely because I couldn't like figure out what was possibly going on with here, and I also I switched to the other clock source, the other design for the clock source that I showed you before. All right, obviously you don't have to look at any of this if you don't want to. It's not your job, but if you're interested and you have some ideas, I'd be interested in hearing them. Thanks.